Interesting. Even as I speak, I have been handed a statement from Jerry West, the Memphis Grizzlies president of basketball operations, who says he's had no contact with the Lakers or with Kobe Bryant about employment. And I'm quoting him here. "I started my career with the Lakers and will always be a Laker fan. Mitch Kupchak and I are great friends, and I would never do anything to jeopardize that friendship or to undermine his position with the Lakers. I have no plans to seek employment with any organization." Any being in capital letters. So that's the situation from Jerry West's mouth. But let's start talking about some other games now. Jerry West has spoken. Let's talk about Utah. Let's talk about the Spurs, and let's talk about what Utah was able to do a little bit differently with Tim Duncan in Game 3 than what they were able to do in 1 and 2. Jalen, what did you see?
They didn't allow Tim Duncan to go quick with his post moves, which allowed the guards to dig down and create turnovers. Tim Duncan's a guy, when he faces up on the left side especially, he likes to shoot the bank shot, or when he's posting up, he likes to bag in and then shoot his jump hook or go all the way to the basket and dunk. When you limit Okoye, you push him away from the basket, which allows the guards to dig down, and it makes the spacing clogged up a little more and allows for guys to be able to help.
And I think the way that they played Duncan and the effectiveness on him actually also limited Manu Ginobili as well in that game. And this, to me, is the difference maker in the series, because when you look at Duncan, you look at Parker, Boozer, and Darren Williams, they can offset to a large extent what's happening on that end of the floor, but Manu Ginobili does not have anyone that can match up with him in this series. If they put Gierasek on him, Kirilenko, no matter who plays him, they cannot keep this guy out of the paint. Now, his impact wasn't felt as much in Game 3 because it wasn't a close game. Manu Ginobili comes through most when he's a finisher late, because even with Duncan and Parker, two guys that are perennial all-stars, when the game is tight, Manu Ginobili is the main decision maker on this team, the main difference maker. I expect him to come out and have a big impact in Game 4.
I think it really still all about Tim Duncan for San Antonio. I think the key, though, for the Utah Jazz is going to be three guys. I think Mehmet Okur, I think Andre Kirilenko, and I think Matt Harpring. Those are your energy players. They're big shot makers in Mehmet Okur. Those three guys have to bring it tonight. If they bring it, this team will have a chance. When you can't expect Darren Williams to average 30 points throughout the course of this series, those guys, they've been the difference makers so far throughout the postseason. You've had the consistency in scoring from Darren Williams as well as Carlos Boozer, but those guys really are what allow Utah to be an exceptional basketball team as opposed to just a very good one. If they come out and have and put an exclamation point on this game, you're going to see the series get tied up 2-2.
Now, when you look at both of these series, the Jazz and the Cavs, both teams down 2-1, not comfortable but manageable. 2-2 is better. 3-1, that could be catastrophic. Who has the best chance of coming out and evening their series at deuce?
I think Utah. I think the Jazz have by far the most difficult environment with which to have to play in Salt Lake City, and I think historically San Antonio has struggled there. They haven't won a game there this season, and when you allow a young team to continue to develop their confidence, that's going to bode well for them. Again, though, that supporting cast, they got great balance. They're going to have to step up and play. They create a lot of problems for San Antonio in this series.
Well, I don't think either team. I think both series go 3-1, but both road teams winning this game. I like San Antonio a lot in this game. If you look historically, since Tim Duncan has been there, there's been no team in this league that bounces back better from a bad performance than the San Antonio Spurs. They're going to come with a better defensive game plan. Duncan's impact will be felt early, and I think he's going to stay out of foul trouble. That's going to be problems for Utah.
And I agree with Tim. I think both series are going to be 3-1 after tonight. When you talk about you losing Larry Hughes, he was the guy that was responsible for guarding Chauncey Billups. Now I look for Chauncey Billups to have a big-time game. When you talk about Utah and Darren Williams being slow by the flu, you need to be 100% when you go against the San Antonio Spurs, because they're a three-time champion. And when you're a little bit wounded, that's when they attack. So I look for both series to be 3-1 after tonight.
It's very, very interesting. And again, 3-1 is a very tough deficit to come back from, but Greg likes the deuce. So we'll find out. Well, Bruce Bowen and the San Antonio Spurs, he's one of the wild cards. Great defender, deadly from three, and with Stephen A. next.